Morning, campers. I'm going to do a blog today about value, about high value, about putting high value on yourself. I This has brought to my attention that I don't put high value on myself. When I did a favor for a friend over Christmas, on Christmas Day, and I didn't get back what I felt I should get back. Now, I believed it was a I can't say it, quid pro quo situation, and I felt pretty bad. I felt pretty bad over Christmas, pretty angry about it, and had an argument with this person and carried on feeling bad. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why I felt bad, really, because I thought, well, get over it. You know, okay, you didn't get what you wanted, but, just win some, lose some in life. You've got to get over it. And I normally am okay with that because the universe normally grants me some kind of gift when I'm giving, but I couldn't get over it, and I felt bad, and I didn't know why. So I started putting into YouTube, letting others push you around, being a yes person, being a people pleaser. And there was a girl, she was very good in a little black and white video talking about boundaries and talking about other people on there to give us the boundaries. Like, I had done this favor for a friend, but I hadn't stated, well, hang on, I want you then to do that for me. I had assumed that she would. So I was left feeling used and devalued. Devalued is a big thing for me. So I was feeling devalued. And this girl was saying that boundaries, you have to put them in place. You have to say to people, this is what I want. But then when you're a people pleaser, you're afraid to do that because you want to be a good girl, a people pleaser, make the other person feel happy. And my heart is always bleeding for other people. No matter who they are, I just, want to make them happy. Which is ridiculous. I'm not there with a swab. I'm not supposed to be there with a swab constantly for other people. So, especially when my life isn't sailing a sailboat on a blue sea, it's choppy waters. So, this is how I was feeling, but I understood why the girl in the black and white YouTube was saying you have to put down boundaries yourself. Nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's going to come along and say, oh, there, here is this. Some people actually do. Some people are like that, but mostly it's not. For example, in my counselling college class, we all had to split into different groups. I then had the next day off. I was sick, and I was at home in bed, sick as a donkey, coughing, felt fatigued. And in the WhatsApp group, the breakaway WhatsApp group, I said to them, oh, what are you up to? I was bored. I was sick, but I was bored. I said, what are you up to? You doing we had to do a talk thing and record it. And they started doing that and posting it. And so I kept saying, thank you. Now, I should have kept my little mouth shut and just swooped it away. But no, I had to put my oar in and be the people pleaser and say thank you. So I was busy people pleasing, saying thank you. And then suddenly one of them pipes up, who I know doesn't like me, pipes up. And I think this girl doesn't like me because she confessed in one of these talky things that some people, I just dismiss them as idiots as soon as I look at them. And the first thing I saw when I met her was I felt she dismissed me. I'm not very confident. In a group of women, I'm actually terrified. So I'm not going to be confident. In a group of men, I'll be confident. In a group of women, no. I'll be a mouse. So I'm very quiet. And when it's my turn, I'll speak really quickly. And I won't show myself either. Not in a group of women. So I can tell she thinks I'm an idiot. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. Just don't, focus on me. So she was in the group, and I knew as soon as it was announced that I'd be in a group with her and another woman who's very officious, and I'm not officious. I'm a rule breaker, and if I can get away with breaking a rule, I will get away with it. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, I don't particularly like rules. And she is very officious. And I thought, oh God, those two. And I knew there was going to be trouble. So there I was at home in bed, sharing, saying thank you. And of course, one of them pipes up, little miss dismissing people because she thinks they're idiots. She piped up, she went, "You've got to do it on your own." And I'm like, oh God, here we go. I said, well, why have I got to do it on my own? Our teacher says so. I thought, what the actual fuck? Did you go over there and ask or point out? You know what? Just leave it be. Put it on the WhatsApp so I can have it. Yes, I wasn't there, but why shouldn't I? I'm sick. Why shouldn't I copy it up and revise it as I'm copying it up? Is there no heart here? We're trained to be counsellors. Surely the main thing of a counsellor should be a good heart, should be kindness. People are going to come in all states of upset, fear, broken downness. But the one thing, and I know this, I've been in counselling for years and group counselling in America, the one thing people come is asking the counsellor or therapist, do you care about me? Do you care? That was very big, especially in the American groups. How can you care if you haven't got a soft heart? So these not too soft heart shit going down. I was sick, I expect a little bit of help, dare I say it. So I was told to do it on my own. I was pretty annoyed. So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I said, are you going to post what you've done? And then there was silence for a while. And then it was like, oh, we haven't done it yet. And so I added, I'm not going to copy it. I'm going to do it on my own, like you told me to do. But I'm just wondering. And then it was like, well, we haven't done it yet. And so I picked up the vibe of being treated like, I don't know, like we haven't done it yet. What the fuck is the matter with you? But it wasn't being said, but that was the vibe I got. And I didn't know whether we were doing an essay. So then I said, do we have to do a big essay for this? And then one of them said, oh, I'm getting confused here. What's going on? Shall I ring you? So I thought, I should have said no at this point. I should have guessed it would be a jizz off phone call. But I thought, okay, yeah, ring me. So she rang me and she said, what's the matter? And I was kind of spoken to as if I was retarded. You seem to be like not very happy. And I looked back over my texts and there was nothing wrong with them. They were perfectly okay. And I said, well, it was about nobody telling me whether you were doing an essay or not. And she said, well, didn't you read the instructions? You were in the class when the teacher was telling us what had to be done. And I said, well, I'm sick in bed at the moment. I haven't got my notes. And she was, okay, as if, oh, really? And it just seemed, I don't know, like not natural, not kind of kind. And then I said, I'm very, very ill. I just thought somebody might tell me. And then I rang one of the girls in the group who's very real and said to her, we doing an essay? I'm sick right now. I haven't been to my briefcase and looked through the notes. Sorry if you think I'm a total dumb cunt for asking, but I'm actually in bed in my gym jams briefcase downstairs in the hallway, too weak to stagger down the stairs. Do we have to do an essay? She's going, yeah, it's okay, chill out. Yeah, we do an essay, it's fine. And I'm like, whoa, why couldn't they just answer me? Why did it have to be a big grilling over, how come you're not doing things properly? So it was this kind of thing over not doing things, not playing by the book, not having those boundaries in place. Really, what I should have done is have high boundaries around myself. I was at home, I was sick, stay out of it. All the work would have appeared on the WhatsApp without any fussing, and I could have just looked at it, found out. And even if I had to do it all on my own, even though I don't get how you do a three-way conversation on your own, I could have done it on my own without any nonsense. But because I didn't have boundaries around myself, I was busy being a people pleaser, profoundly thanking like a character off of Nicholas Nickleby, that the shit hit the fan. And what happens is, and it was in one of these YouTubes, that there are many, many, many predators out there. And when you're being very, oh, I'll just be really quiet, don't eat me, don't be mean to me, then it brings out the predators in others, and people see that. And I had spotted that in class, that these two women were, very confident, very sure of themselves, very, we don't like idiots. What is an idiot? And I had, knowing that, I mean, when I heard I was in a group, then my heart sunk, and I thought, oh God. And I vowed as I sat there to be dumbass. I thought I will sit with them. They're going to want to chew into me in some way. I knew it. I will play dumb, play the people pleaser, play the docile individual, and then they can't hurt me at all. And what I'd done, because I wasn't there in person and could do the whole facial expression of dumbass, kind of the whole blank look, and it failed. And they got their blood. They got their blood. It was, you're being inappropriate. Why didn't you listen in class? And I got nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go with that. Why didn't I listen in class? Well, I was feeling sick. I was feeling shitty. Someone levels that at you. There's nowhere to go. I mean, I could have said, well, I felt shitty, so actually I wasn't paying attention. But then you'd get the, oh, I see, you're not paying attention, yet you expect me to pay attention for you. If someone's being like that, you often have nowhere to go. And it's my fault right from the start for not having boundaries. And now I've got to see the teacher when I go back, because the woman who rang me she's complained about me to the teacher. After the bit where she said, how come you don't know what to do? And I said, well, I'm in bed sick. She's like, I think I'll have a word with the teacher about all this. And there wasn't even an all this. It was a, why is there an all this? There's not an all this. But now there's an all this. And I had an email from the teacher that I have to have a tutorial. And I'm guessing I'm going to be thrown off the bloody course. I don't care at this point. I actually don't care, because I'm not learning anything in the class. We don't do psychology. And apart from there's two girls that I really like, and we've spoken over WhatsApp. And they've said they have similar issues. I find it very unreal. I find that you can't be yourself. I find that it's very competitive. Why are we competing? It's like, what? Why are we fucking competing? It's like, I mean, we're all in the same class. Do they imagine that we're all going to go for the same job at the end of it? I don't think that will happen. Why are we competing? And yet the atmosphere in there is competitive. I don't particularly go for that. I particularly go for that. And then I thought about what happened over Christmas and my friend not giving me back what I felt I was owed. And I thought this is a whole story, all the way along the line of not having boundaries, of being a people pleaser. And then I got onto my third YouTube yesterday, and it was a young man. And I pick YouTubes, it's weird because when you look for a subject such as being a people pleaser and others taking advantage of you or taking the piss out of you or treating you shabby and using you as the class pinata, there's lots of videos on that subject. So you're like, oh, which one? But I go for just the faces. If I like their face, I click on. And it was this young man. He had a great face, actually. And oh God, I started to play it and I had to turn it, I had to stop. I was like breathless. He talked about having value, and he said if you place a low value on yourself, you will get eaten alive. And if you don't respect yourself, nobody else is going to respect you. It's a built-in thing with human beings that they won't respect you. They'll take you on your own estimation of yourself. And if, excuse me, and if you're going to walk around like a low value individual, they're just going to eat you alive. They're going to treat you like it, and you'll get literally trash, literally talk like trash. You certainly won't get what you want out of people. You certainly won't get treated like an equal. They'll treat you and they'll label you, and I'm telling teacher about you because you're not a proper person in class. You weren't listening. I damn well wasn't listening. I felt like shit. I felt, oh God. There's no real kindness out there in the world. But then I do feel that we have crossed a Rubicon. And since the COVID days, since what's happening out in Palestine, that, and apparently in America, there's a whole issue with their borders. There's bad things, but really a lot of darkness coming down. And so to be a kind of person that I've been living as is a huge mistake, because the more dog eat dog society is going to be, and then of course if you act like that, you will crumble and be left in the curb. So it made me look at myself and my life and see where has that come from. I do have gifts and talents. I'm a good writer, not where I want to be with writing, because my novels couldn't find an agent and couldn't find a publisher. And I wanted to be a novelist. That was my passion since age 11. And I was always told I was a good writer, told by Colin Wilson, my friend, was a good writer, and I always thought I was going to be literally out there, Jackie Collins, and turned out the only thing that I could get published were books that I'd written as novels, but were based on my life. So then I twisted them into nonfiction, and I got them published, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to write novels 100%, and it was weird because I never married Ray, but we were, I would say, like husband and wife. His sister got worldwide fame and a best-selling novel. So it's weird, and it's so weird that somebody through Miles Johnson's group Basis said to me about targeting, and said ages before this happened, said, what will happen, the success that you dream of? And I said to her, well, I want to be a famous novelist. It's my passion. It's my true north home. It's my compass. And she said, somebody close to you will get the success you believe you deserve. And it happened. It was weird. Olivia, that was actually said that. Whoa. And it was weird. Literally, my more or less sister-in-law got that. And I was told by Ray, and Ray had always been a fan of my writing. Always, he always said, "You're going to be famous one day. It's brilliant," and would read bits out. And so it was weird getting it delivered from him. It wasn't great. It was really hard. It was very hard to swallow that. But over the years, I've gotten used to it and gotten used to, I will sit there and write a novel and nobody would read it. I've just finished one. Nobody's going to read it. But you just kind of get used to it. That's life. That's the way it is. But being a high value, to walk around life being a high value person or being a low value person. When I worked for the press in Fleet Street, I had the taste of walking around as a high value person. When I was an adoptive daughter, I had to live as a low value person. My parents told me again and again, "You're a bastard, you were born through dirty sex, you are from people that weren't married, your mother was a prostitute, we took you in, and we will now abuse you, and so how can you walk around like a high value person? It's not going to happen." But I was good at school, really good at school, especially good at English, and the other girls liked me because of my stories that I'd write and pass around, and so I got attention and value that way. When I started working in Fleet Street, that was difficult because though I had skill, I got into Fleet Street through getting close to Ian Brady, which was journalistic. They twisted that, but that's what happens when you're a low value person. I should have said to Phil Hall when he came along, "Actually, I'm just interested in him. Aren't you interested in him, Phil? You seem like you're a bit obsessed with him. To me, you've written to him, didn't get a reply. I got an invite up to see him. Maybe I'm better at being a journalist than you are." Instead of saying that, I let Phil Hall totally abuse me, and then get his leg over as well. So he got the byline, probably got his job at the News of the World over that. And then I went and followed him into the News of the World because I had nowhere else to go after they'd smeared me as being Ian Brady's daughter. Even though I was born in London, it's totally impossible. And so I worked there, but I quickly found out that the others around me, made the counselling group look completely, low dominance. They had come from homes where they were told they were high value. They had got their degrees. It was always a stigma for me that my parents tossed me into care around that time when academic work was very important. And so the other kids in care were all from Borstalls. They weren't academic, excuse me. So they weren't academic, and you couldn't really go off to school in your school beret off to a posh grammar school miles away. So I had to become like they were, which meant putting on a Cockney accent and pretending to be thick, which I did do. And then, of course, becoming a private investigator, which is something I didn't want to do, but then having your education junked. It was either work in a shop, which I was struggling with because I was intelligent. And so I seized this offer of being a private investigator and did it, though didn't like it, and was doing mainly undercover work. Graham, of course, even though he was nowhere near me at this point in my life as a teenager, apparently knows what I was doing and not doing. Isn't that amazing? He must be a really high value person. Anyway, so I then went and followed Phil Hall into working for the press, and noticed because the others, my peers there, had come from homes where they were told that their shit didn't smell, and they had their degrees, they were middle class. And of course, when it comes to the point where they're going to say, I want you to do this, and I was like, I'm not going to do that, that's illegal, I'm not going to go to prison. And also that I knew that they would try and con PIs to do illegal stuff and then write about them. And also I knew Phil Hall had lied about me being in Brady's daughter, had used me for sex, dropped me in a brothel. So I knew the way these men from this world rock and rolled. And I thought, no way you're going to leave me in a brothel after shagging me. I'm not going to do illegal things for you and have you have one up on me and what? Then I have to give you a blowjob or something in the loo, or you go and tell the police on me. That's not going to happen. So what I did, if they would ask me to do things, would write it down. Well, I don't have to be shy about writing it down. I wasn't going to do anything illegal, and then just not fucking do it, which was very easy because they always knew the story anyway. I was merely ticking a box of standing it up. So this went on, but of course I had the normal work. But whenever they asked me to do something illegal, I would write it down. Now, fast forward years later, Graham Johnson comes along and starts to say, this is evidence that you did this. Even though I had said to him what had gone on, he then persuaded me that it would be a good idea to say that I had spied at the Priory because I could get revenge on the newspapers. And he would put it, after all, they dropped you, didn't they? You worked for them for ages, and you weren't doing anything wrong, but they just dropped you because of the phone hacking scandal. And I didn't know, and somebody, a friend, Angela, thank you, reminded me about saying that I didn't do phone hacking. I didn't know about phone hacking. When John Boyle brought it in, the News of the World dumped me, literally dumped me, and also the Sunday Mirror dumped me because they didn't need an investigator when they were hacking everybody's phones. So I didn't know why I was dumped. I went off to Belfast and I was quite happy working for the Sunday Times. I didn't give a shit. But when I found out, was through Greg Miskiw telling me, said, well, we've gone high tech now. I thought, what the fuck is high tech? And then I went home after this spaghetti dinner with him in the afternoon, and I'd been a private investigator since I was a teenager, and I knew the business inside out. I knew everybody in London, and contrary to what Graham Johnson tells Tina Brown, I work for the top agencies, the ex-MI6 agencies, the ex-CID agencies. I didn't work for the sleazy, whichever ones you're actually thinking of. Are you talking about Stuart Withers? Graham Johnson knows nothing about the PI industry. Absolutely fat zero. And yet, apparently, he's Tina Brown's Virgil. What an arsehole. Tina Brown, by the way, is the arsehole. So going back to working on Fleet Street. So when this Graham Johnson figure came around, he said, oh, you should say you spied or get them all into trouble. So I was like, well, that's a bloody good idea. So I was like completely on board with this. They were even saying, you should write a book saying this as well. So I thought, great idea. I'll be this person that walked round the Priory in my pajamas, going into different bedrooms where the celebrity's sitting on the edge of the bed, sobbing. What a great story. So I was sitting there. I even decided to write it up. I can't remember whether I self-published it, but I believe took it down. Perhaps it's still up there, but it's a load of cock. Anyway, and next thing, he then decides to offer me money, which I never saw, and then goes ahead, cuts me out of the whole thing. I think after the burglary, I actually pulled out. This doesn't get told to the judge or anybody. The whole story is left out. But before I was burgled and threatened, Graham Johnson's gone out there and said I threatened and abused him. I was talking to a journalist I know recently, and they said as if someone like him who sees himself as a gangster is going to, what shame on him. He stands up there and makes out he's afraid of you, a middle-aged woman. I said, I know. I'm not even fit. I haven't even got like pumped arms, that I'm scared of her. She's like freaking Rambo, What an absolute, words fail me on that. He's gone out and said that, which has affected my child's life. And I told him, you've hurt my son since he was 13. And he knows it. I don't have to tell him. He's aware of it. He now is studying to be a journalist, and he's shit hot. So expect to be exposed in a YouTube in the future, not in the way I'm doing it, but in a slick motherfucker way. So yeah. Anyway, so back to him coming to me saying all this, and I thought, well, hang on, and this is how, again, not being a high value person, I was quite annoyed because I smell a rat. I thought, hang on, you're fucking using me here. You're using me. I think you're going to make out that I did criminal things. Now, I knew I hadn't, because after being called Ian Brady's daughter, used for sex and dumped in a brothel, you kind of know how these men roll in this world. And I thought, no way am I going to leave myself open to them. And other private investigators that tipped me off as to what journalists were like. And even my own Greg Miskiw, who I was in love with at one point, and we were sexual together. I saw him as my best friend at one point. We'd go out all the time. And I spent one Christmas crying through the whole Christmas because he hadn't bought me a present. We'd been out to dinner, and he says, "This is your Christmas present." But I'd expected something perfume, and I didn't get it. And I literally, I was crying all over Christmas. This is my relationship with Greg Miskiw. And even one time I walked in the pub, and I said to him I wanted to go and work for a newspaper that had offered me to go in as a journalist. And he said to me, "Oh, well, you go and do that, but you're nicked." What a weird thing to say, "you're nicked." And he pointed his finger. He always had a curled finger. I said, "Pardon me, what?" He said, "You've done illegal things for me." And I thought, oh, bitch, I fucking haven't. So this is how I felt I had one up on them, because I saw them coming. But fast forward 2016, Graham Johnson turns the fucking narrative. And I decided at this point that I didn't like this whole thing of me supposedly spying in the Priory. I thought, actually, what about when it comes to court, and I'm presumably have to go into court and accuse these newspapers, oh, they made me spy at the Priory, I spied at the Priory for them, when I haven't. I'm not going to go to prison for 10 years for perjury. So I pulled out the whole thing. I thought, I'm not on board with this. And what Graham Johnson has done is quite clever, and yet silly in a way, because he has run ahead of it. Like, don't need you, you low value bitch. Foot in face. I'm going to run ahead. And totally ruin my reputation and make it out as if I flip-flopped. I didn't flip-flop at all. I was always on the same freaking page of what had happened, but sadly got roped into this idea of getting revenge on the newspapers that had dropped me, which is wrong, but I just thought, fuck it, fuck it, which is wrong, totally wrong. But I was angry, upset, and I missed my life. And there was no reason for them to drop me, but they dropped everybody. They dropped even people that would go and get birth certificates up at St. Catherine's House. That's how they were, but I'd been working out in Northern Ireland for 2.5 years as a Sunday Times journalist. but still, no, you've been a private detective, so fuck off. And I was angry. I was really angry. And I thought, if I can say I was running around the Priory in my pajamas spying on Ronnie Wood and some others, then fuck it, I'm on board with that. But I wasn't. I absolutely wasn't. Of course, they would say it and say do other things like ring up this place and ring up that place. I just didn't bother. I didn't want to do it. It seemed to me to be illegal, and the spying in the Priory seemed to me to be taking the fucking piss out of me. I was there for my childhood rape. I'm not going to go and look for this one and that one. Fuck off. So instead of being a high value person that says to smarmy editor, fuck off, I had went, okay, and just pretended to. And whatever he said was a story, I would say, yes, you're right, or no, you're wrong, and however I felt at the time, or however I judged what he thought at the time. Does he think it's true? Meant yes. Does he think it's maybe not true? That meant no. It was pretty simple. And I ended up getting them sued twice over this whole charade of me doing this. But fast forward, Graham Johnson's busy telling a judge that I did do it. And because it's all middle class people rule and I'm working class, I didn't get my chance to tell my story of what went down, which should have been picked over by a judge, and then they could see what actually happened. And an intelligent person work out what happened and get to the fucking truth. Because it's just greedy people putting their version across and no defense. And I've had my reputation trashed over it. And the counseling course has become involved because there's one or two girls in there who went and made it their business to, okay, I talked about it, but I didn't expect them to go and get hungrily involved. They didn't seem that interested. So I've been talked about as if I'm guilty of something. I'm not guilty of absolutely anything. Why? I wasn't going to break the law. I was too scared to. And also, I wasn't going to have somebody say to me, you've got to give me a blowjob in the toilet or I'm going to tell the cops on you. I don't let men have that power over me anymore. So I was never going to do anything illegal for those sex-hungry freaks. So this has gone on with this Graham Johnson character. I have now given my statement to certain parties. I've been filmed, so whatever, I get duffed up or threatened, I can't bring that back again. They've got the truth now in statements over absolutely every little issue and accusation, and I've also been filmed. And I believe that's for a documentary that's going to go out. So this will all be really picked over because certain people are upset that they would ever even ask somebody to do something illegal for them. So this will be picked over, which is good. But I have to look at my side in things. Why did I go along and meet up with someone like Graham Johnson, knowing that he wasn't a nice character? And it's not. I knew it, and I was even talking to people that he'd written books on, because I thought I'm going to find out what he's doing lately. So I was tracked down all these guys that he'd written books on, and they were really angry about him. And I even tracked down this other guy who he'd put in prison. He was really angry about him. So there was all these men, some of them quite hard men, that were very, very beyond angry. And they were like, Chris, do not go and sit with this man. But I was like, no, I'm fine. But he is the type of person that if he were a girl and I was a man, he would say I raped him. He's that bad. That bad a person. But so what I decided to do was, hang on, I don't trust you. But instead of being high value and putting down boundaries and not going like these men had said, I did the weird, but I was kind of curious anyway. And he was always offering nice places and, you know, French restaurants, etc. And so I kind of just wanted to go. And he would, when I was there, come out with this. And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll tell you the biggest load of horseshit I can make up. And so I did. I started to horseshit. I horse shitted for Britain. I told him the biggest whopping horseshit that I could find out that actually would make Graham Burrows look like he can't even tell a lie. It was highly colourful, and I did that knowing that he would do something with it. And I thought, go ahead, motherfucker, do something with that, and then you'll end up looking stupid, because I really don't like getting treated like I'm low value. However, going back now, I can see that it was wrong. Truth will come out in the end. However, meanwhile, back at the Batcave, my reputation's ruined because he's going around going, she said this, she said that, but actually it was bollocks. But there's nobody there to counter it, you see. And there's nobody there to counter it because Mirror Group newspapers and News International are phone hackers. So if anybody is accusing me, don't give a shit. It's a great distraction from phone hacking. And then people will say, where'd you get that information from? And they'll have to say, well, it wasn't from fucking me because I wasn't doing anything. And I can't believe on this one job, no, 2 jobs, there was phone calls put in. And what happens, these Sunday Mirror wee girl journalists or the boy, they will ask someone else to do something. That person will fail. And then they'll ring me, you see, or they'll try and do it themselves. And that's why, oh, that was you did that call. No. I would did never risk my life for some spotty ass middle class prat of a journalist. It just would not have happened. I was intensely self-protective. Wouldn't have happened, didn't happen. I'm not about to get raped on a bed in France and then dropped in a brothel or called Ian Brady's door. That was never going to happen again. And I certainly wasn't going to do anything illegal for them. So this should have all been flushed out in court, but wasn't flushed out in court. But again, had I have been a high-value person, living a life as a high-value person, none of this shit would have happened, because if somebody had said to me, oh, I want to do this for you, I would have said, well, go fuck yourself, motherfucker. That's illegal. I'm not your shit catcher, you middle-class prat. You do it. And Johnson went up in court and said, she did journalist dirty work. Oh, did I? I think you'll find I fucking didn't. God, it really annoyed me, you know, like I was some kind of unaware human being that just got, yeah, she was a whore. She got pounded in that room, pounded, and she was there giving it some, the dirty bitch. Oh, actually, Graham, you don't know me at all, bitch, because behind the low-value person is an absolute raging, bad-tempered motherfucker that actually will not take shit off of anybody. I took shit when I was a child and I lived in my adoption home, and I would be whipped by my mother. And what I did in return for that, I wasn't going to let it lie. As I say, I'm not a shit catcher. I don't do people's dirty work. I went and destroyed all her wedding pictures. It was lovely leather-bound volumes like Encyclopedia Britannicas, and it was laid over with this beautiful chiffon paper. There she was in pearls and organza and cutting the cake. I destroyed every one of those pictures slowly and surely until one day I went there and I thought, which volume shall I pick up? And I flicked through all of them. There was none of her pictures were left in all of them. They were just empty books. I did that because that's the kind of person I am. I don't like to be fucked with. I especially don't like some spotty ass editor to come along and ask me to do something illegal. I will look at them and think, well, hang on, you middle class prat. Why don't you do something illegal and then get carted off to prison? I'm not going to fucking do it. But Graham Johnson apparently knows all about me and all about my life. I mean, I must have missed something. When did we date each other? So he goes off and tells the whole world, this is me. Well, actually, you are fucking wrong. You are fucking lying. It is not me. Yes, you can put it out there, I'm this low worth individual, but I tell you, behind there is a high worth individual. And I am just about to strut that out because I am sick of living the way that I lived in my childhood home. I am sick of wearing a mask. I am sick of doing this kind of being jizzed on, no other word for it, being jizzed on by people. People think, yeah, I can do what I want with you. I can do what I want. I can say what I want. I can take your very precious gift on Christmas fucking day and fucking say you don't deserve anything back for that. And I'm sick of it. And that fucking Christmas day was the Rubicon that I crossed. I'm glad that that happened because that is my heart and my fucking soul, and that is worth a fucking lot. That is not nothing. Do you understand? So I was very angry with that. Plus, all year I've been reading about myself. Apparently, I'm some stupid turd that would ring up a doctor's receptionist with some dumbass fucking excuse that would never wash in a million years. And apparently the receptionist, oh, I was really clever. I knew that that was somebody fucking about. And I'm supposed to be the mong who fucking did it. Well, I was, most fucking certainly was not. Because that would have been recorded. And anybody doing such a thing could be raided and carted off to Holloway Prison. I quite frankly do not like the idea of going into a women's prison. The idea of it, fuck off. If ever I had to go to prison, I would say to the judge I was transitioning into a man. I would claim that. Apparently you're allowed to these days. I would claim I was transitioning and I would go into Belmarsh. The idea of Belmarsh actually quite appeals. I could handle a men's prison. It would be fun. I would enjoy it. But no, not a woman's prison. No. No way I was going to do anything illegal for spotty ass scumbags. Fuck off. Fuck off. But there's this character now going out, oh, you were this person. This is you. Telling the world that I was a certain way when I was. And I'm not even allowed, apart from on this, to say, actually, this is who I am. This is who I am. And here's the proof of it. Here's the story. Does this not ring true? Because truth has a ring to it. And this individual, Johnson's bitten off more than he can chew because he's gone and accused the Daily Mail and the Daily Mail aren't having it. So they're going to pick this whole thing apart. And it's not just me, as if that story wasn't bad enough, what's gone on with me. And by the way, boys, no point in coming around duffing me up or threatening me or yada yada, or what is it Gavin Burrows told me, hiring guys from up Liverpool, up north and all that to come down here and to plant drugs and cocaine on people. Don't fucking try that shit with me, do you understand? So I've already given my statements, already there, what, fucking 150 pages, and I've been filmed. There's people doing TV documentaries about this shit. So this individual's bitten off more than he can chew with this bullshit because he's trying now to get money from the Mail who haven't been phone hacking. Why? Because they're intelligent. Couldn't believe Richie Allen, I love Richie Allen, his cute little voice there, said to me, oh, why haven't the Mail been doing it? Oh, why? Because they're intelligent. They're higher IQ over there. Because it's dangerous. Because it can be proven. Okay, so they hack Prince Harry's phone, right? He finds it out because he listens to a recorded message that's in the listened box, and then he can go to MI5 and it can be traced. And they, of course, they all end up in prison. That's how stupid it is the male have got higher IQ. They didn't want it because it's not an investigation. It's not a way of spying, because if you're a spy, you have to be a ghost. That's not being a ghost when messages for people get in their safe box. I was hacked on Fleet Street. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew my messages were like, hang on, I didn't hear that. I didn't put two and two together, but I should have done, because I had a boyfriend one time who did that to me. It's a really wanky little trick, but they went for it. They ended up in prison because they're so stupid. So people go, oh, how come this newspaper? Well, they've got higher IQ than the Red Tops. Is why they weren't doing it. But it's not enough for Graham Johnson, who, for a working class lad from Liverpool, he's done fucking big things with his life. Even after ruining poor Stephen Houghton's life, even after the beast of Bob Moore, still, apparently whenever he speaks, out comes truth. What the actual fuck? There's people out there, I'm not even angry about it. I'm like, whoa, really? You think you can get away with this? But there's people, men, high IQ men, I can tell you, very, very accomplished journalists who are very, very angry about him. Very, very angry. They're not going to let it lie. They're not going to let it lie. And this is just my story as another private investigator, Gavin Burrows. And they made up a load of stuff. Oh my God, I can't believe it. He made up a load of stuff around Doreen Lawrence that it was just, none of it's true. That, oh, let's go out and it's for a TV documentary. It's just a ruse. Let's just see how this would go on. And what about go over there and pretend you're bugging or debugging Elton John's house? And it was all play acting, fucking nonsense. And he's gone and got that and accused the Daily Mail, I think, or the Mail on Sunday, of, oh my God, of spying on Doreen Lawrence in the cafe where she apparently had a cup of tea. It's total crap. And what else? There's more. And bugging Liz Hurley. And it's all nonsense. It's all for shit. I know Gavin now. We talk. I'd say we talk nearly every day. We talk about the same thing every day. But I don't think either of us are ever bored about it. Because it's so shocking, really. Then what else is bullshit as well? Oh God, all the Hugh Grant's car was apparently bugged. That's made up. Oh my God. And Gavin can't wait to get into court to tell the judge all this. I really actually feel sorry for Graham. I do, in a way. Isn't that weird that I would feel sorry for him? It's just like strange. I find that strange that here is somebody that's totally ruined my entire life, lied about me that I'm a tin pot little girly when actually I'm high value and I'm sensible. I didn't put myself in danger when I was on Fleet Street. I protected myself against what I saw as rapists. I did. I saw them as rapists. My brother made me walk up and down and strip for him and then proceeded to rape me. And I was never going to be that person again. I was never going to do dirty work for men and let them have things on me. Fuck off. But he goes out there and tells the world that this is me. I'm this low value, slightly retarded prat who fucking rung up little receptionist to try and get information out of them. What the actual, like a spasticated idiot, silly little girly. Well, and I've had to suck on that since 2016. I've had to suck on it. If I die now, his version of me, which has nothing to do with me, not even any connection whatsoever. Notice I'm like a retard in the story. That's because I brought Graham to a Real IRA meeting. I made the connections in there. They started giving me stories, and he was there, but where's his connections? that hurt him a lot, and it hurt him that I could see my way into an investigation. He couldn't. That hurt him a lot. So he's enjoying himself, putting me out there as this less than creature. And even Hugh Grant said in this statement, he said, he said, what did they get Christine Hart to say to find out this about me? What the fuck? What did they get her to say? Oh, so he believes Graham's view of me. They would come to me and ask me what to say. How do you do this? Let me borrow your genius. So no, nobody told me what to say, Hugh. That would be silly, wouldn't it? Because they could just get any little girly. Nah, come on. Wake up, smell the coffee. But he believes Graham's view of me as low-value person. And because I act like a low-value person around others, it's very easy to pull that off. So he's done that. Well done, Graham. But I think at the end, because you've attacked somebody that's completely innocent, that you're going to look bad. Even taking me out of the equation, there's the Gavin Burrows horror story. It's not fair to rope in Doreen Lawrence on that, because she's suffered. She's not just a celebrity where it doesn't matter. Let's face it, celebrities don't matter. But she is a victim and a celebrity. Therefore, it's kind of horrific, that whole thing that Gavin has told me. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, that is really going to go tits up. That really is. I mean, and that's why I feel sorry for Graham. Bizarrely, after all he's done to me, I still feel sorry, because I wouldn't like to be in that position. I'd be shitting myself right now if I was in that position with the whole Gavin Burrows story, because it's that's really bad. I mean, if I didn't know it and somebody told me it, I'd say, how would that have happened? But it has happened, all faked affidavits and all this kind of thing. And Gavin believes that Graham Johnson will end up in prison. He said he's going to go to prison, he's going to serve time. And I'm like, really? And he said, yeah, he's going to go to prison. So this is what's happening. Back to the reason why I did this video is about the acting as low value, acting as high value. This young man's YouTube, which I'll post below, people take you at how you act. If you're used to acting low value because it annoyed a narcissistic parent, it can become a habit, and so you carry it around with you. I carry it into my counselling class. I don't like the fact that I think some of them are unreal, but how real is it for me to go in there, the life I've had, and I've published books, and act like I'm a mouse? I'm not a mouse. But however, I do feel fear when there's a lot of women. And I watched a movie last night called Neon Demon about Dakota Fanning, or the other one, Ellie Fanning. It was really good. And these women, models, it's a very good movie, were jealous of her. And in the end, they ate her. They actually ate her. And as I was watching it, I was watching it with my son, and I said, oh, that's confirming all my worst fears about women. And I actually have that deep horror of them. And I think that's because of my adoptive mother was devouring. She, if she could, had that level of hate where she was very jealous that her husband, my so-called father, was sexually interested in me and then became obsessed with me. So it's that jealousy thing, and these women were jealous of Ellie Fanning in the film, and they ate her over it. They killed her and ate her. And I thought about it afterwards, and I felt that with my mother, she was devouring. If she could have chopped me up with an axe, she would have done. And I felt her hate every single day. It's that panting, jealous hate. And when I'm in a room full of women, even though I'm older now and so they're not going to look at me and be triggered by that. I mean, I can, and stupidly I tell myself, don't say you're a published author, Christine, but I feel myself saying it, and then there'll be one or two in the room that will take exception to that. They'll Google you, look it up, and then cop the hump, and will be cunty to you, and then I'll start to sense that vibe of envy, and it will trigger me because it will trigger the memory of my mother devouring me and having to live with that hatred. And then I'll start to feel fear, real fear, in the room with them. I will just feel it. I'll pick up on it and I'll feel it. And so it's hard to go into a room with women and to act high value. It's hard sometimes, even with women that are friends, to say, actually, my gift of shamanically journeying is something that I prize. I'm not sure I want to do that for you. And if I do that for you, you need to give me something, whether it be, I don't know, a gift of some kind, but I expect something equivalent to what I've done for you. You know, send me some clothes. I'm freaking cold. It's winter. Anything, but not nothing. And this is how I felt shitty and shabby over Christmas. And of course, I'd given them this gift on Christmas Day, so it felt worse. And literally listening to that boy, and he said, it's how you treat yourself, how you value your time, how you value yourself as a person. And I thought, why was I doing something for a friend on Christmas Day? It's Christmas Day. That's for me. That's for me. It's for my son. Why was I doing something on Christmas Day? I wanted to help this person. I knew it was important to them. And so that's why I did it. But sometimes you can't trust people to see that. They could quite easily think, silly bitch isn't doing anything on Christmas Day. Silly bitch isn't valuable. They're a low value person. So only when you own up and you're honest and you stop being a people pleaser and you stop telling people you'll do something and then not doing it. And that was very wrong of me back in the day. But I wanted to stay on Fleet Street. I had nowhere else to run after the Ian Brady's daughter stuff. At least on Fleet Street, they knew it was horseshit. I had to be there. I felt the newspapers owed me. I wanted to be a writer and a journalist. So I thought, you're going to ask me to do something illegal? I'm just going to fucking pretend to do that motherfucker. And I'm going to write that motherfucker down. So, and they were saying, oh, there's these invoices saying, oh, you did this, you did that. And then you look at them and it's got £75. Oh, so I'm going to find out if Princess Diana has cancer for £75. And this is what they expect people to believe. Do you not think that I've worked in that world for a long time, that I knew that I would know that something like that would be thousands? If you actually did something like that, it would be worth thousands. It wouldn't be £75. But I didn't mind saying £75 because I wasn't doing anything. So this is how, if you stride forward in the world as low value when you're high value, we're all high value. Nobody needs to act low value. All of us are high value. So hope my story helps and it wasn't too convoluted. And I hope you'll walk forward in your new year and make a New Year's resolution to be high value, to not walk with your head down, to not be the dog that gets beaten, to not have to pretend you're doing something when you're not. Say no. See, I could do that. Or say, actually, it's my Christmas Day. I'm high value. That's precious to me. No. Just no. Same as I should have done years ago instead of the convoluted nonsense. Just no. Same as I should have done to Graham Johnson. Actually, I think you want to fuck me over and say I did illegal things to make you money. So no. So that, sat there telling me a load of old horseshit, that's going to come out in the wash. My story now It's the same story as Gavin Burrows, but mine's for totally different reasons. Mine's for, I can't stand up for myself, so instead of standing up for myself, I told him a load of old pony, knowing that sometime in the future when he shits on me, he'll go running off with that, but it will be, hey, you nicked stuff out of my handbag, but actually I did a poop in my handbag, so, oh, look in your hands. You've got a load of shit over your hands there, boy. So it's that kind of thing, but that's not the way to rock and roll. The way to rock and roll is to be high value from the start. This is me, these are my boundaries. There's a line around it. It's a very precious, important, talented, skilled, gifted place. This is Castle Me. And around it's a bloody big moat, and the moat's been set fire to. No more people pleaser. No more, okay, I'll do that. No, none of that. And you don't even have to be aggressive and say fuck off. You just say no. And with the women in my group, to go in there, to not go in there looking shabby, to go in there wearing a suit, to go in there to share what I've done in a loud, confident voice, just as they share, to take my time sharing about what I've done, to not be a people pleaser. If people are officious, that's up to them. I'm not officious. I'm not like that. I'm not particularly enjoying the work. I don't have to be afraid of them. Again, that is probably something that you can get over with being physically afraid of people with just, I don't know, working out, having a strong, fit body, having a resilient body, going jogging every day. Then you're resilient, you're strong, and suddenly you're not a pushover, you're not weak, you're strong, you're bloody Rambo. That is a good way of being high value, of walking in your value, good health, strength, a strong body. And even as you get older, you don't have to crumble. I have a friend who's 75, I think, and she looks so young. She could easily